We've all been through craziness. And I mean, as much as I learned from 2020, I'm ready for 2020 to straight go to hell and bring on 2021. If we continuously use the prism of red or blue to justify our actions, our inactions, our natural bias, or our own opinions, instead of using the premise of right or wrong, we are all screwed. All right, well, welcome to Now or Never podcast, all things entrepreneurship, people who just take life and kick it square in the ass. My special guest, King ISO, man. I can't tell you how excited we are to have you in the studio and how pissed off my wife is that she's not here. Oh, yeah, I got a few text messages on that. You know, this podcast has always been all about people from around here who do big things, who just to show all the kids and all the people out there that they can make their life whatever they want it to be. Right. That they have the power in their own hands, no matter where they're at, especially from here, right in the Midwest. They can do something big, impact people around them, and give hope. And I think that's what I told you when I was messaging with you, that your story gives hope. And I'm very interested to hear the story. You know, how you grew up, where you graduated from, and how you got into what you're doing now. I mean, you just got back off tour, which I've never had to wait for a podcast guest to get off tour before, so that's kind of cool. Oh, so tell me the story. I'm
an Army brat. My mom in the service, as well as my stepfather. I was born in Newport, Rhode Island. We moved around a lot. Had a lot of family here. So after being in like Maryland, after Rhode Island for a little while, Pennsylvania and Virginia, I believe, a couple other places, we came to Omaha. And I've been here for pretty much the majority of my life. Got introduced to music really, really young. Just music has just been something that's ran in my family, you know what I mean? And also like being involved in church. A pastor at the church we went to called King of Glory, he gave my mom, he gifted me like an organ. And my Aunt Stephanie, she taught me how to like play piano. Like pretty much like, it was weird because she played by ear and like she kind of showed me like the same thing. So like musically, I just became inclined just by ear.
Nice.
So, and also like my stepfather being a super duper like, you know, just music fan, just from hip hop to jazz to everything. He was just schooling me on music. So that like developed my love for it. Also like being in like Omaha, Nebraska around like the, I want to say the street life took a toll as well. You know what I mean? Where I lived at on the north side, there's a lot of activity that took place, which a lot of people in my friend group and age group, we got, inadvertently pulled into. And we just had to adapt, you know what I mean, to our environment. So I went through a lot with dealing with that. And also, but at the same time, I did exceptionally well in school. But when I had that going on and I had other things going on that played into finding out that I dealt with like mental health issues, it took a toll on my early years as a teen and going into a young adult. So graduated from North High School. You know what I mean? I did some dope things there, from academic decathlon to honors classes and stuff like that. Did some Shakespeare plays, fucking stagecraft, all that stuff. But then, trying to excel that way and also doing like music technology classes and all of that, I had a whole other life that was pulling me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And dealing with things mentally. Like I had a best friend of mine who she was murdered. You know what I'm saying? She was like the love of my life, my best friend, my heart. She pretty much helped me uncover how to deal with mental health, or at least recognizing it. So coming towards or getting out of high school is when it really started to take its toll. I still was making a lot of music. A lot of people told me they felt like I could make it. I put my first like official album out at the age of 17.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it did very, very well. But the guy that put my big cousin Mario, who put my album out, he was really heavy in the streets, and he had got hit and had to go to prison for like 8 years. So this guy this is my mentor at the time. I don't really have any direction.
Yeah.
Once that kind of fell off, I just got involved into a lot of stuff, man. Fell into like a lot of deep depression, and fell into like drug usage, man, and going in and out of jail, in and out of mental hospitals. And then it got to a point where I think I was like 19 or 20, I got petitioned by the Board of Mental Health, which at the time felt like a very shitty thing.
Yeah.
And I was mad at everybody who was involved in the petition, including my mom. But it was for the better of me.
Yeah.
So being under the Board of Mental Health for a while, man, like pretty much like you can't leave. You're into this facility. You had to go to court with inside of this system. And there's like a panel of judges and I'm pleading my sanity. And they're like, no, you're going to sit here and you're going to deal with this and you're going to get it right until you're able to transition back into society. And then them telling me I can't work and I have to take this. Yeah. Otherwise they're going to come. It was a big ring of fucking fire.
Yeah.
But I did the work. I did all of the group therapy that I needed to. I did outpatient treatment for a while, and I got to the point where I could wing myself off of meds, and I wasn't obviously, catching any cases or anymore due to my negligence of taking care of my mental health.
Yeah,
I had my firstborn son in 2011, and that's when everything just kind of started to click.
Yeah,
and so. Around that time is when the music started to take off because I got focused. Like having a kid, I don't know what it does for a lot of other people, but I know for the people that it all does the same thing for, like it just kicks you in a high gear.
Yeah, I mean, it was me. I have 6, and I know. Yeah. But that was for my kids. That's the reason. For me, it always was like when maybe I would have quit before.
Yeah.
But now I can't.
Oh yeah, that's exactly
and that's
how I
it.
felt.
And that's my reason. That's my why.
Yep, so, exactly. Yep. So as soon as my son's mom, she gave me the news, it was like, well, I got to figure out something.
Yeah.
Like now, so whatever my talents are, or whatever my dreams are, or my strengths are, I need to tap into that, and I need to get my mental together. I need to leave all of this extra bullshit alone, and I need to really hone in on what is important. So I started just killing it musically. And next thing you know, I'm getting millions of plays on like YouTube and SoundCloud and stuff like that. And I'm getting looks from people like Tech Nine and stuff like that over the course of time. So after I did like a couple independent tours with some guys that I was with, here comes Tech Nine popping up at one of my shows. And he's like, yo, what's up? Like, I've been hearing a lot about you. And this is somebody who I modeled my career after, who I've always respected as an independent giant and just genius, who's always felt like I felt like he wasn't giving his flowers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This dude has multiple platinum records, sellout shows, done stuff with the biggest artists, has respect from people like Dwayne Johnson, fucking Elton John, Eminem, has songs with Tupac, like he's done everything. So for this guy to come to a show and say, I've been hearing about ISO, I've been hearing about King ISO, I want to hear what you got. Yeah, we were in Kansas City at the time, just at some random bar, probably like 50 people there at the show. He's doing shows like 20,000 people. Like, you come to see me? So it was like, damn, like it's time. And then we exchanged information. Next thing you know, we do a song. It gets put on UFC 3, the video game. With EA Sports, heard the song that we did. They loved it. That turned into like, yo, ISO, they want us to do more music, man. We got to build this up. It took me on a tour. I wasn't signed at the time. Put me in front of tens of thousands of people at a time. Like life is just making a 180. You know what I'm saying? And we do this tour. I get all of this love. I've built up my internet presence. I've gotten my life together. And shortly after that, a couple months later, they offered me a contract to sign to Strange Music,
That's awesome.
Biggest major independent label in the world.
How was that going from playing for 50 people to 10,000? I mean,
it's a surreal, like I can't even put it into words, because it's like Tech. I remember Tech doing those shows with like little to no one there, to see what he's built independently outside of the industry with the utmost respect from the industry. Yeah. To him say, for me being that person in the crowd, you know what I mean? Like how my shows might look right now, you know what I'm saying? Anywhere from like 50 to 500. To watch him go from that and me support him in that, to him take me from what I have and what I do to put me in front of what he's built. It's a humbling, like I can't even like such an honor. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we've done shit like Red Rocks. And when we did Red Rocks last, it was 12,000 plus. Oh my God, you know awesome. What I mean? Yeah. And then we did something called Fiddlers, which was like 18 to 20,000 people. And it's nuts. Like for him to feel like, I've earned that, or I deserve to be up there on that stage with him. It's fucking incredible. You know what I mean? Considering everything that I was going through, you know, like 5, 6, 7 years ago. It seems like yesterday I was homeless, sleeping in the park. Now he's like, hey, we're about to do some big stuff with, you know, I'm like, holy shit, like, what are we, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of that, I mean, all your struggles you went through with the depression and understanding all that. I mean, the homelessness, which been there, makes you appreciate it a whole different level. Oh, yeah. You know, and it's something that how old are your kids? You got 3. You said a little one now.
Yeah. Little one, newborn. My middle one he's about to be 3, and my oldest is about to be 10.
You know, and it's funny because we always try to do better for our kids than what we had. And my oldest is 21, my youngest is 2, so I got a spread. Yeah. And it's the same point, like you want to instill into them that same gratitude we have for certain things, but they also have the same struggle. So it's always been a challenge as a parent. But keep them grounded, keep them real.
Yeah, I think it's important for them to actually understand and see in real time. Sometimes, like one time when I was with my partner, his name is Fred Ward, super duper dope cat. He took me under his wing a long time ago. I went to Atlanta to live out of his studio when I was homeless. I think in 2012 or 13. He drove me down the street in Atlanta, where first we went to like Magic City, and then we met up with like Ludacris and like some Def Jam people and some of like T.I.'s people, and I got to see all of these fucking Maseratis and Lamborghinis and shit like that. He did this to me on purpose. After that, we went downtown right around the corner, and it was like a block where it was just nothing but homeless people, and there's like 1,000 of these motherfuckers out there. Yeah. And he was like, this and this. You feel me? He's showing me. He's showing me like, bro, we're don't forget this. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is where you have, and this is where you've been. And then, you know what I mean? Don't get lost in this. And that was the message that I took from that, and it kept me level-headed. Yeah, because some people, they come into money, or they come into a situation that could potentially warrant money, and they lose all of their morality and integrity, or their moral compass from where they originally came from.
Money corrupts. It does, and it's money and power corrupts people, I get some I get so entrenched into that because I was so broke for so freaking long, and. You know, my wife gives me shit sometimes, and my folks, when they're around, they're like, quit acting like you're so broke. I'm like, I operate on that. I operate on that because I understand that I am blessed beyond measure. Oh, yeah. That the good Lord has blessed me beyond measure. Oh, yeah. And if he decides to take it away tomorrow, that's okay. Yeah. But I'm going to operate like that. I'm not going to operate like I'm some sort of affluent that I'm not. And it also keeps my moral compass grounded that way, because I don't value money. Right. I mean, we got to have it.
Of course.
I had a lot of kids. Yeah. I have 3 daughters. You don't have daughters.
I understand.
It's like I'm a walking ATM slot with daughters. But you know, it's one of those, we have to have it, but I also value, you know, the time. And that's something else that we're trying to, and I'm understanding as I get older. I'm trying to work on my business, not as much in my business, and just understand that I have time with the kids. Okay. Something I can't get back. Okay. And so just a different value structure. And all my kids, like, it's okay to it's okay to want the house and want the cars. What are you willing to trade for it? And that's what I always tell them. I'm like, understand that those are just things. They don't buy you happiness. I don't care. Yeah, money can fix a lot of problems, but it doesn't replace happiness. And it doesn't fix depression. No, it doesn't fix self-satisfaction.
No, not at all.
Not at all. I mean, some of the happiest people I know make $35K a year, and they're just content.
Yeah, and some of the dopest conversations, and some of the most self-fulfilling conversations of like self-understanding and accepting are with some of the homeless people I used to sit and chat with. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like there are some people who don't have anything by choice because of whatever philosophy that they might have adapted for their self and understanding that has nothing to do with like laziness or I don't want. No, it's just like I am at this point. And I am accepting of this because boom, boom, bam. Yeah. And it let me know that like, bro, like having anything extra or, you know what I mean? Or having a bunch of material things or tangible things, they don't equate to that. They don't equate to, oh, well, I'm happy with this, because I know people who deal with a shit slew of fucking mental problems and just strained relationships and just stress, and they have millions and millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then I know people who 1-bedroom apartment, studio apartment, living their best fucking life. Oh yeah. feeling like that, 99 Toyota is a fucking Lamborghini. You can't tell them any different.
Yeah.
And that's the disconnect I feel like a lot of people have with money, because they see money and they think, oh, this is going to buy me happiness. Like, no, there's some things that could grant you temporary happiness. You know what I mean? But inside is where it's at. And then I feel like those relationships you have with people, like your kids, your loved ones, those are things that money cannot buy or replace the time to actually enjoy.
Legacy.
Yeah.
It's like, what are your kids? I always say, like, we talk about this a lot. What are my grandkids? What do my great grandkids get told about me? Because I ain't gonna be alive.
Oh yeah.
But that's what I care more about. It's legacy.
Yeah.
And that means as much as anything to me.
Oh yeah.
Way more than money does. I mean, as long as I can put food on the table, keep a roof over my head, I'm good.
Or just set up a foundation that continues to work and continue to work until one of your successors, you know what I mean, comes and reigns and restructures it better for what their legacy is from what you laid the groundwork for.
Oh, and that's my kids, and that's funny because my kids are like, what happens with Rexius when you get older? I'm like, depends which one of you guys wants to earn it.
Exactly. And
if you're not interested, that's cool. Like that's cool. I go, what makes you happy? Allows you to feed your soul and your family at the same time and go do that. That'd be what I do. Do what you want to do, whatever that be. Like my 15-year-old son, he's into gaming. That's his whole thing. And I'm like, own it. YouTube channel. He's doing game reviews. He's trying to code his own stuff.
Run it up.
Own it. And it was, everyone was like, you're cool with that? I go, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I go, one, I'm a nerd. I still play video games.
Right.
I don't do the new stuff because I can't figure it out, but I play the old school games. But yeah, I mean, it's just finding out what makes them happy, feeds their soul a little bit. And I think it's awesome how you admit and talk about the mental health awareness, because Chad and I have talked about this a lot. And there's a mental health crisis in this country right now, and it was almost cliche for a long time to never talk about it. And it's in my family, that's for damn sure. And I've been there before, where I just wasn't living my best me, and I thought I had to do X, Y, Z. This is what society wanted me to do, and it was getting no tattoos that were showing, because that wasn't business.
And fuck that,
and go wear the polo to work, go wear the suit and tie, do the job you hate because it's what you're supposed to do. And I think I was 27, 28. I had 6 ulcers burst. I was 80 pounds overweight. They've got me on meds going galore. I'm in the hospital, and I'm like, fuck this.
Right.
Had a moment with Jesus, and I just said, I'm done. I'm going to go do this. So I dropped 80 pounds, got off the meds, quit my job, sold my house, started my first store, cut my salary 80%. And I'm like, and I was just young enough and dumb enough to do it. I had 2 little ones at the time. And I was like, screw it, let's go. And it was just literally that, because I was valuing money and all the things society told me that were important. And social media wasn't even as big quite yet. This is 09.
I'm glad. What's great? It's around the same exact time. I think my first ever Facebook post was either in 2009 or 2010. Yeah. And everybody was like, you need to get on Facebook, and you got so many people that want to connect with you. I was in that same kind of space. So the last job I had was a delivery driver for Jimmy John's. And it was right before, it was 2010. So right around that same time period. My son was born in 2011. So I'm busting my ass, bro. You know what I mean? And this is before GPS and stuff really started taking off, or maybe I just didn't have an up-to-date phone. I was broke as shit, and I was like, so I was doing exceptionally well, and I just felt like the people there, they just, they knew, my, maybe my criminal past, and just they probably could tell that something wasn't right with me mentally. Yeah. But I always tried to do the right thing. Sure. And I always was on time. I kicked ass. There was nobody there that could fuck with me on getting them sandwiches to and from. You know what I mean? So I had coworkers, which I ain't gonna say, they were offering the extra shit I wasn't. Yeah. And I just feel like, some places you just get, you get discriminated against no matter what you are. Some people just don't see your threat. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people that overqualified for what they do. So people, and I think I was one of those people. Then we're talking about fucking Jimmy John's. You know what I mean? What the fuck are we talking? You know what I mean? And that's how I felt. But so they came up with some bullshit plan to just give a random sandwich test. I wasn't a sandwich maker. I was a delivery driver. They was like, if you get 3 things wrong on this list, then that warrants your termination. So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck goes on these sandwiches. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, I pull up, I take the sandwich to the fucking address that's printed right here, and I continue I don't make the sandwiches. Yeah. So they gave me the test, and of course I fucking failed this shit with flying colors. You know what I mean? Yeah. I got a fucking son about to be born. And their parting gift was, hey, you can just take a sandwich on the house. That's when I was like, fuck working for anybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my music shit, and if I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail very fucking hard at it.
Yeah.
And which means that I'm gonna continue to do it until it fucking works. And that's what I did. Everybody looked at me crazy, like, why don't you go get a real, everybody here's there. Why would you not go back and try to, because they told me I could like come back and try again, but I was like, you just let me go. Yeah. I don't have 60 days to be fucking around with you guys. Like, I need to figure out something now. Yeah. So it was, I'm a producer, so I was selling beats, $25, $50 here, pay the cable here, do this there. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to become self-sufficient enough and build my brand and my catalog up to where I can make a living off of this. And everybody thought I was fucking crazy. And I would obsess with it, spend all day doing it. I fell out of relationships that I was in because of it. And look at me now. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like we just have to be overly obsessed with what we want to do. And people have to feel like we're fucking crazy in order for it to happen. And
dude, I love your social media, man. I mean, when I first started following you, I was like, it's so inspirational. You talk, not just mental health, but you talk about just, doing the right, like always doing the right thing. If you feel you're in, there was one you were talking to people and just being like, hey, don't let people decide who you are.
Oh yeah.
That was one of my favorite ones. And that's why I was like, dude, I'm an ISO fan. Like that's it. Like it's over for me, because I was just like, so intelligent and so well spoken and I was just like, and then I started listening to your music and I was like, man, he's literally saying these things. Yeah. He's already saying this stuff. What War Me I thought was I just because it's such a good positive message. But I wanted to segue a little bit because your social media now has turned into like, you're like the Hulk now, bro. You're like in the gym and no, but for real, I feel like your mental health struggle, and I think everybody deals with some of that, is never going to end. There's always going to be, you're always going to have to work on your mental, but people don't know that working on your body is big for the mental. Tell me.
Very, 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 very important, because what I learned, I'm real deep into the psychology and the inner workings of just us being what we are. So knowing that all of that is essentially connected, you know what I mean? Like there are things that are connected to the way that your body is in being healthy or lack thereof that affects chemicals in your brain. Yeah. And that triggers all type of things. It could trigger a low self-esteem. It could trigger a low serotonin rate. It could trigger blood pressure things will turn into other, you feel me? Which create energy problems. And now you're like, these are all things that are essential to day-to-day basis. Waking up, having the energy or having the strength or just the mindset or just the routine of just doing. Some people don't fucking move. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I understand that, because I reached a bottom, very hard rock bottom when I was so depressed. I didn't fucking leave my dad's couch for like 3 weeks. I just laid there. I didn't do anything. I didn't fucking eat. And he came downstairs and he was like, what is going on, man?
It's a big sign of depression. It's a huge sign.
Like, you have to, I was overweight, you know what I mean? And I hope none of them pictures ever surface. You know what I'm saying? But if they do, they'll look at me like, well, holy shit, we'll look at that transition. You know what I mean? Like I literally, and I'll say this with actual truth and like acceptance. I hated myself back then. You know what I mean? And that was a very hard thing for me to realize back then. I was like, bro, like I literally didn't believe in myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't even care. You know what I mean? I was like, if I die, I die. Oh, well, nobody cares. And what I learned was, and which was the most important lesson for me was, well, if I don't give a fuck, nobody's going to give a fuck. Yeah. Nobody's going to come in here and scope my body for me. Nobody's going to come in here and rewire my brain for me. Nobody's going to come in here and lift me up. Nobody's going to call me and drag me to the gym or drag me to the studio or make me, be presentable, groom myself, hygiene, eat well. You know what I mean? Like that was literally all on me. And what I had to do, it was like God had a way of saying, I'm going to strip you of everything that you have. Like your friends are going to disappear. Your love life's going to disappear. Your fucking career is going to disappear. The money that you did have to indulge in leisure things that were that served as detriment to your fucking, you know what I mean, future. Well, I'm going to strip you of all of that. So now it's just you and me. Yeah. And I feel like that was the most important lesson, because then it was like, okay, so what do we have? And now I have to build all of these things up. And I feel like some people peg it as like the devil or negative energy when shit happens. Like, no, sometimes the universe is just trying to kick some of these pillars under this table of bullshit that you're upholding. Like, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that. Let me cut this down.
You don't know what you have till it's gone. Type of thing.
And then when things are gone, you realize what was important to have in the first place. Because sometimes you have too much shit. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's it. I mean, I made more money in my old job than I'd ever made. I ever thought was dream possible. Yeah. I was still broke or never been. Because I was buying shit to replace the happiness I wasn't divulging from what I was doing. Yes. And I was, and honestly, the 2009 housing crash was the great leveling for me. Because I built it onto this house I thought I had to have. Then I lost my ass. So now I'm miserable. Yeah. And I'm broke. I'm like, well, I might as well be broke and happy. And that's when I went back into my job, and I literally had to file bankruptcy. I had to pay it. I mean, I had my ex-wife, she hated my guts, and all this shit. And I was like, I'm gonna go back. I had nothing left. I had nothing left, and I sold everything I owned so much on Craigslist and eBay that my kids thought they were next. Everything wasn't bolted to the fucking floor. I sold it, put it on the shelves, and then so I'm delivering pizza at night. I have 2 master's degrees. I started my first business making money.
We always end up being delivery guys.
Because Gava should be right by my shop. And so I get off at 8 o'clock. I go deliver pizza till midnight. And it's always those middle road managers who don't want to do anything more, and they're afraid that you're going to challenge where they're at. It's those middle road managers who are basically going to put somebody else down so they don't have to come face to face in terms with their own inadequacy or their own level of self-satisfaction. Right. And if I had to say, I go, listen, I don't want your job. I'm going to make you look real good. I'm not going to bust on you. Just let me go do my shit. Right. And they go, I'm going to make you look like the best late night manager that's ever existed, and just stay out of my way.
We were just talking about the long game. We were talking, because you've had some managers or some people, in your franchise and stuff like that get rich quick. Oh, I'm going to be manager, and now I get to do whatever I want. No, it's a grind. Like you said, sometimes when you first started, you got to deliver pizzas until you can get a profit, get something going. It's a long haul.
It's an addiction to the process.
Right.
I like to create. But I like to be. I like to get my hands dirty. And yes, I'm an addict. I've always been an addict. And so that's for me, is I'm addicted to working. I'm addicted to creating new things. And it's just how I am. And
side hustles.
It's my side
that turn into hustles. Careers.
They turn into a lot of companies. Iron Heaven, and HI, and the podcast. And it's fun. And I told
all successful.
And my wife even brought up a point. She goes, hey, it's okay to just do some things. I said, I know. I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do something less than 110%. Right. It's not in my nature.
And that's a beautiful thing, though.
It is, and my kids love them, but and they're understanding that they thought it was cool when they were younger, but now that they're playing sports, that when I'm going to be the dad, I'm over the top. I'm 110%. My 8-year-old's pitching a game last night, and I'm pacing back and forth behind the mound. And I'm sitting there, and I wasn't yelling at the ump. I was just saying, I go, how small is the strike zone? It's 8. I mean, come on, kids laying mustard out there, and they're all like, relax.
But to your point,
I'm 110%.
But you know what? That right there is something that needs to be instilled in a lot of people, because if you're going to do something and you're going to take the time to do something that you have or what you feel like is a passion, why the fuck not?
Oh, yes.
Why wouldn't you give it your all?
Well, you can see the difference between somebody doing it for money,
exactly,
and doing it because it feeds their soul too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you can make money and feed your family and your soul at the same time, you're successful.
And back to your kids, I think you make a good point. They're eventually going to get there. They're going to get to the point where they have enough confidence. They have enough, they're going to grow up and become men and women and go into the world and do their thing. And they're going to, I remember, my dad is 110% of the, these things. Yeah. Right now, they're dealing with confidence. They're dealing with all these other things. They've got all these, but eventually it's going to work. It's going to click eventually, just like it did,
And I don't preach to them. I mean, unless it's about faith and God, that's the only time I do any preaching. I don't preach to them.
Right.
I'm actually surprisingly calm.
But they're seeing you. You're preaching through your work.
Just actions. And because they're going to come to a point in time where shit's going to hit the fan.
Correct.
I mean, they're in that age in society where they see a bunch of people who are influencers getting paid for basically doing nothing.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And that's the big goal. I spoke to North Middle School 2 years ago, and half the class, their goal was to be an influencer. So with me, half the kids in the school right now, your goal is to be famous for doing jack shit.
Damn.
I'm like, but I look at it as an opportunity.
Okay.
Your kids and my kids, because we're instilling the right type of behavior in them. Yeah. That means they have half as much competition as you as I did. So I look at it from a positive standpoint. Right. You know, but at the same point in time, I'm trying to bring all the other kids that hang out at my house, because there's an extra 4 or 5 kids in my house every day. Right. I'm trying to bring them all up. Yeah. And be like, no. Like, I want to see talent in all of them. We call them all of our adopted kids, because we have a lot of kids hanging at our house. I'm like, what do you want to do? Well, I'm going into this to make money. I'm like, okay, well, that's okay. So what's the end goal? Where do you want to be? Where's 5 or 10 years from now? Like, what do you want to, like, well, I'm only 15. I'm only 18. I'm only 21. I said, it doesn't matter. You need
think about that shit right
there's no roadmap. You don't know where you're going. You should randomly drive. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like fun, but you end up in a ditch.
So you wind up in that ditch.
Yeah. And that's just trying to find a roadmap for kids. And and I love, like Chad brought up, how much you talk about with the mental health stuff. Because I just think it's something that people like, it's not the end. You just, it's a different path you have to figure out.
Yeah. And I think that what people think when they hear mental health, and this is something I've never gone on a record saying, and I'm glad it clicked right here from this conversation. I feel like a lot of people, when they hear mental health, they immediately think depression and they think schizophrenia. But no, mental health is, that's a part of it. Those are mental illnesses, or those are things that we deal with within our mental health. Right. It's just having a healthy mindset. Right. Literally, and that's fucking important, because whatever we choose to do, or whatever we choose to think about, or how we maneuver, all stemming from, the first initial thought. Yeah. That has to be healthy. Yeah. Because whatever that outcome is going to be from that initial thought is going to be exactly what your intentions were when having that thought. Yeah. So if you have an evil intent, or you have a bad intent, you have a negative intent, there's no way you can say, I'm going to put broccoli, and I'm going to put fucking cauliflower and sweet potatoes into this pot, and I'm gonna make burgers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Unless you want to make a fucking veggie burger. But what I'm saying is you get out what you put in. Exactly. So if we have a healthy mindset, and we go into something like, I'm gonna walk into this conversation with the mind, like I'm right now, my biggest thing being, it is mental health month. And one thing that I sat down and had to tell myself was, what is something that you can do better with? I'm always like writing notes in my phone and sticky notes and saving quotes and shit like that. And my biggest thing right now is conflict resolution. One thing that I learned from, just like random like relationship quote pages, there's like when you talk to your partner, and there's a bigger thing to this, but it's listen, not to respond, but to understand. Yeah. Right. And I say, well, okay, that's very important, because I feel like a lot of people, when they go into conflicts, they just want to be hurt. They just want to be hurt. Exactly.
Yep, they want to be hurt. Yep.
But what is the end goal? Do you want to just be heard, or do you want to come to a mutual understanding?
Fix it, fix the issue and grow from it.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I'm dealing with bullshit, you know what I mean?
Totally, 100%.
A lot of bull. We all deal with fucking. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Well, now that you're coming up, you're gonna have a lot of people coming at you.
Oh my, and then the crazy thing about it is, even when I didn't, like, even when if I had somebody talk to me about this when I was younger, because I feel like, especially us men, we're not taught to deal with emotion. Nope. We're taught to, you can't be a wuss, you can't be don't be a bitch. And that's heavy on men. So we have to go cry in the car somewhere. We don't have like a stigma or whatever you want to call it, like a social thing or acceptance for us.
Kind of a safe place to be emotional.
Let's be vulnerable about this.
Exactly.
Shit, let's
dude, vulnerability. That's the word.
And let's fix it. And I grew up with my chest out and prideful, like, fuck that. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to talk about, my mindset going into things was, fuck what everybody's talking about. Yeah. I don't have an end goal to deal with it. What I started doing, I started letting my guard down. Yeah. So if something bothers me with something that I'm dealing with, or anybody, like a friend or family member, let's just get it out. And let's do it, not with the intent to cut down, because what happens when we have conflict with each other. It's a lot of
cutting down. Point fingers.
It's a lot of fuck yous.
You said it exactly. It's pride.
Yeah.
Pride is huge.
Pride leads to a lot of dumb.
And we're kind of taught from the beginning that men have to be prideful. We got to, but there's a difference between weakness and vulnerability. There's a difference, and understanding that is huge.
And I had a grandfather that he was very calm, very calm man, very soft spoken, very intelligent. He's 87 years old. He's still a practicing physician, never retired, still working. He's just that guy. It's almost like when he would say something, you just paid more attention. And he was very calm, never yelled at me one time. And I was an asshole. I was a terrible child. And it's you learn a lot more by listening than you ever do by talking.
Oh, 100%.
And if you sit back and start to ask questions, I mean, and if you ask a question just wanting to hear where they're coming from, you're going to learn a lot more. It takes a lot less words to get your point across.
Yeah.
It's something I've really tried to do in business, especially because I'm, and I teach all my staff the same thing. Like when people come in, I don't care what you want to sell. I don't care what you're wanting to do. Find out what their issue is. What do they need? How can we help them? Well, my kids, it's the same difference. And with having 3 sons, and I have 3 sons, and it's different. And it's, I was taught a lot of times to, I had a good stepfather, did a great job whooping my ass growing up.
Same.
And,
a lot of life,
and then my mom and Chad's mom pretty much whooped our ass mutually.
Yeah.
Mutual, what do they call it? Community ass whooping.
I heard that.
And we were lucky enough to have that. And but everything, it was calm. At the same point in time, I did a lot of dumb shit. I got a lot of fights because I wanted to defend myself, defend my family, and my brothers, and it was just the way it was. And with my sons, and part of it's with faith. My faith, and trying to instill that to my kids at a different level than I grew up with was, and I explain this to high school kids a lot when I speak at high schools, universities. I go, 1, shit gets better. Whatever you think of the world's crashing down today, you won't even remember in 5 fucking years. I said, because I'm seeing teen suicide, I'm seeing these things, these people are just straight up depressed. I told them, I said, at the end of the day, this is all temporary. I believe in an afterlife. I believe in my faith. I said, I said, when you're a parent, I always say this the same way. When you're a parent, and you love that child unconditionally. That's how your creator cares about you. Yeah. And so this is temporary. This is just a phase. And end of the day, no matter what that asshole kid said at lunch, doesn't matter what that girl said to you or whatever. None of that means anything.
Right. Yeah.
I said it's okay to be emotional about it, but use that anguish for power towards something creative outlet. So I make my kids either play an instrument. They have to play an instrument. It's non-negotiable. They have to learn to play at least one because you don't know if you have a gift in that if you don't try.
Exactly.
But it's also a discipline thing too.
It is a discipline thing. So they played instruments. They sing. That this is part of the thing. I grew up doing that, and I said sports. You got to be physically active. When you're not doing sports, you're doing cardio at my house. I make them do it all summer long. They all have to do cardio. Yeah. Man, I
love it.
It's one of the best lessons you can teach your kids is discipline.
Discipline and physical health.
And that doesn't mean spankings and stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what you said.
Creative health.
Exactly.
Creativity. Put it in
something that's positive.
Create something positive. You have to, whether it be music.
You don't have to fall in love with it, but you'll find something along the way.
And they all hate the cardio. So what?
Everybody, I
hate paying taxes, but I still got to do it. So it's the same thing with school. Like I talked to my daughter Olivia yesterday, and she's failing math. She goes, "Well, I have this assignment and that test. I'm retaking it." I go, again, she doesn't like me. I go, yeah, I bet your teacher woke up today and said, no, Livia's going to fail today. I go, get over your shit. Yeah. I go, even if you don't like your teacher, you're going to have a boss someday you don't like.
Exactly.
You're going to have a banker you don't like you have to deal with for your business. You're going to have an underwriter that maybe don't like, but you want to get that house or something.
Or you're going to be the boss and you're going to have an employee that you're going to have an issue with, and they're not going to show up for work, and you're going to have to go in there and do it.
And there are employees that I probably don't care for, but they're completely unaware. Because at the end of the day, it's not my job. I don't have to agree with you 100%. Just to figure out we can create something beautiful together.
Exactly.
And find common ground. And so it's I think being a parent, the older your kids get, the more it prepares you for everything else.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it's just, and you look back to when you were a kid, and we're like, shit. Yeah. What did I need at that point in time? And you try to be that for your kids too. It's awesome.
So is BR Physiques taking it out of you?
Yeah, definitely, man. That's why I love going to the gym, because for me it became something that I feel like anybody that's watching this or us in this room, we've all put a hole in the wall before. Yeah. We've got mad and we broke something.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Since a kid, we slammed fucking Legos or
scars on my hands.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So growing up, it's crazy because like that literally sticks with us, and we have a means to snap into in order to stimulate our Anger is destruction.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people go towards. So like I said, conflict resolution. That's a conflict within ourselves is anger.
Yeah.
Because why? We're fucking conflicted. We have a problem. We have an issue with something or somebody. So what are we going to do? And I want to resolve it. You know what I mean? In the most positive, in the most productive way possible, which is why I went to the gym. Perfect. Sometimes when you want to tear somebody's head off, go pick them 45 plates up. You know what I mean? Go in there and actually do something good and healthy for yourself.
And those endorphins.
By the time you're done.
That's Seth Rossi had my podcast on Pittsburgh last year, and he said he calls it mindless dumb shit.
Yeah.
Where you go do something that's physically active that you're either, you're building yourself or you're
chopping wood.
Something else. He's chopping wood.
Yeah. And
he said, what do you do? I said, well, I either do the gym or I work on my house. I'm a craftsman. Yeah. And why? Because it shuts my mind off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm doing something creative. I'm building somewhere. I'm building my body or I'm building a new table, whatever. That's what I do. And everyone else goes, why do that? And I go, so I don't strangle one of you.
Literally. And it's like, even by the time you're done with it and you tire yourself out, you're like, you know what? I ain't even worried about that shit no more. I thought about it 1,000 times while I was in here and I figured it out in my head and forgot about it. I'm not worried about it.
It's amazing.
It's no different.
It's amazing what the gym can do. I don't get in there enough, but when I do, it helps.
Well, it's even like that with my wife and I. We've had that. We obviously with a blended family, and we have 6 kids and 3 businesses, and we just found like at first we're busy. It's easy to just fight and say some nasty shit. And so her and I came up with a deal, and this is for all you married couples out there. We have a deal. If we start to fight, we decide we're going to stop. We're going to have sex. And if it's still worth fighting after that, then it's worth it. Yeah. So my wife and I have not fought in 3 years.
Yeah. Good sex, healthy sex.
It's conflict resolution at its best. But there's a lot of ways to get out around fighting and all of a sudden realize that everything you were pissed off about really wasn't that big a deal.
Because you forgot about it within a 30 minute to an hour exchange.
I mean, you know what I mean? And
5 minutes, 10 minutes doesn't matter.
It's a great cardio workout too. Instead of running around the block.
I feel like I do a lot more of the cardio than she does. But that's
she's not here to speak.
The wife, man. You're kicking ass. You kicking ass.
She's not here to defend herself.
She wouldn't disagree. So, as far as your career, like, what do you see in the next 5 years? What are your goals?
Oh man, I'm very excited, man, because stuff like this, you know what I mean? Linking with people who are doing amazing things in the community and just around the world is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to have multiple outlets. Some people are happy with just doing one thing, and I'm pretty sure me and you have a common ground understanding that we're not. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's cool, but now I want to go do this because I like this, and now I'm going to delve into this. And probably a couple other things at the same time because I love it all, so fuck it, let's turn it all up. And with me, it's literally helping people, man. Like I fell in love with fitness. Yeah. Thanks to Chet Fortune. Much love to bruh, and he's recovering very well. He when I was homeless, he had just started Warrior Fitness, and he brought me to the gym to just hang out. And you hang around a lot somewhere. Eventually, what they say, you hang around enough, you're gonna get a job here or something like it. So it happened like that. So we started working out and stuff like that, and that's when I found my passion, and it just kept me out of just doing dumb, aimless shit. Because I used to just walk around Bellevue and just catch cases because I didn't have anything. I was mad at the world for my mistakes. You know what I mean? Yeah. For how I responded to the world. You know that life is 90% of how you respond to it and 10% what happens to you. Like it was that, So what I've grown to want to do with having success in my music and it opening other doors, especially with something as powerful as like mental health and fitness, is I want to build places for people to, you know what I mean, to just be better. I have like a brand that I'm getting ready to start. I'm also in the process of writing a book. I have a mental health documentary that comes out with Fox News, KNBC, which is sometime within the next couple of weeks. Nice. I'm getting ready to partner up with the National Alliance Against Mental Illness, NAMI. Start doing some community work. I was asked by a veteran at one of my shows to come be a part of like their march. They have a mental health march that they do. Yeah. They want to put me in fatigues and all that and go out there and march with them. Yeah. And like stuff like that, man. And you know, having you know, well-running companies and linking with guys like yourself, you know what I mean, guys?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to create good stuff like this and good content and good businesses or like safe havens for people to come that have similar stories or that need outlets that we didn't have. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, 100%.
If I would have had these podcasts when I was 13 and 14, like I couldn't talk to my mom or my dad because maybe they didn't understand. And and I wasn't, you feel me? And I just had somebody just tell me these things, like it would have helped a lot.
I think the awareness is getting out there. I think the mental health, especially for young men, the awareness is out there. I mean, we see terrible atrocities out there with shootings at shopping malls and things like that, which is like obviously
connected to that.
It's connected to mental health and it's connected to other things too. And the internet has sped up, you know, with social media and stuff like that. But it's also sped up in another direction in a positive way as well. So, I mean, there's outlets for you to have, but there's also bad things. So it's like you said, I think it's 90% about how you respond.
I think
it's huge.
I think the more public people talk about it and say, hey, I've felt the same shit. The more acceptable it is for these people who are sitting in the closet.
Icebreaker.
You know, it helps them reach out and do that thing, you know, and that's my big thing here is just helping other people start side hustles. I like the process. I don't get anything out of it either. Like as far as like money, but we had Brandon Kinney, Control Smith starting Alliance Sports Training, North Omaha. And they're training because a lot of these kids, like, you know, they're just to teach them sports. They both play football in Nebraska.
They need something to do.
And so we're helping them and they're trying to figure out their first building and stuff and you know, just trying to help some of the kids and all around Omaha, being North Omaha, just have an outlet to go do and be a male figure in their lives. And it's been kind of awesome, you know.
It's another sense of discipline in a way.
It is. And it's just
learning a discipline, learning something that you
finding
have.
something to, I think every kid should have the chance to try to be great at something.
I agree. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Try to attempt.
That's what it is. And I feel like because, you know, in our society, you know what I mean? A lot of us don't have active fathers. You know what I mean? Which is very unfortunate. But then again, that opens the door, in which I personally feel like is our duty as men that have the ability to go help these kids. That's what we have to do. Like, why not? We have every ability to, you know, like sometimes you see like I don't know, anybody from a firefighter to maybe a police officer, and you notice like some of them just go the extra length to help a kid. Like, I took that kid under my wing. That's not in your fucking job description. You know what I mean? That wasn't in your contract to do whatever you do. You felt the need and you felt like a spiritual calling to be like, I want to go be something and do something for these kids.
There was a story I heard about a cop that like adopted like I think there was a homeless crack addict that had a child. And he found this person, tried to get this person help, but then adopted her baby.
See what I mean?
This is a story I heard like maybe it happened a couple years ago, and he like was on the news. He was on CNN, Fox News, all this stuff, and reading and learning about his story, I was like, wow. I mean, that really opens your eyes and goes, what more can I do? I'm thinking to myself.
And that's the kind of shit that makes a huge difference.
Yes.
And thank God I had a few people in my life growing up when I was on my own and when I was homeless that said, you're better than this. You should know better than this. And didn't cut me excuses. So get yourself up. Let's go. Like, what do you need? And it's, you know, I was sleeping in my car for like 6 months. And just like, you know, and that's what I'm trying to do. You know, we have these, and it's funny, like we were in Hot Springs, Arkansas 3 weeks ago, opening a new store. And
congrats, hell yeah, because y'all going crazy. Yes, another one. So this gym owner comes over and comes in the shop, and I'm introducing like we're the new staff, the new owners, and he goes, "Yeah, my wife and I watch your podcast." I said, "What? Really?" He's like, "Yeah, we watch your podcast all the time." I told my wife, I'm like, "We're famous," you know, whatever, and that was so cool. That's beautiful.
A week later, this is last week, as I'm talking about my daughter and her grades, one of her classmates, they're 13 years old, be like, well, I can't remember his kid's name, Johnny or whatever. He goes, he watched your podcast and you said in your podcast grades don't matter. Oh, shit, I did say that. But I told my wife, I go, there's 13 to 14-year-old kids listening to this. I mean, she goes, you're literally the dream of trying to impact what I needed at that age is coming through to fruition. That to me was the coolest thing I'd ever heard.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, and it's one of those that that's how we build legacy.
Yes.
And that's how we improve everything else around us. It's our responsibility to lift our neighborhoods up, lift our city up. Yes. This is why I'm so focused on where I live here, like I want to help everybody coast to coast, north to south. There's so many, like we used to go down to Sienna Francis house down here. People don't realize if you live in Omaha and you haven't been down to Sienna Francis house, you need to go down there.
Yeah.
Go down there and see how many people who don't even make it in the door.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I understand, like, yes, I've built houses in Puerto Penasco. I've done all that stuff. And I understand that our poor compared to like Mexico's poor is different. But it doesn't mean there aren't people here homeless who are still poor as shit.
Right. They need help and
they need help. Yeah. Everybody needs a helping hand. And we used to go down there and hand out cheeseburgers with my buddy Vito. And just because guys who couldn't even get in because they were already had drugs or alcohol problems. Well, they need more help. And so we just hand out cheeseburgers and say Jesus loves you, and it was it. And we just do.
And
it.
I mean, you know, if a handful of those folks that you see or you meet, homeless, mental health and stuff like that, if a handful of those folks can come out on the other end a better side and say, okay, let me work hard, let me change my life, let me get this stuff down, then that is the mission. That you're not going to fix everybody.
No. But one kind word, one kind action.
It can change.
It's all it takes. And it doesn't cost you shit to say nice crap to people, be helpful, open the door for whoever, take their shopping cart back, pick up the trash in the parking lot on the way into the store for no reason. And maybe somebody in a car sees that and just says, and that it spurs a thing in their head to pay it forward, do it them damn selves. It doesn't cost anything to be a decent human being.
You ever be in, you know, like you're in traffic and you might see somebody panhandling and 15 cars go by. And me personally, I keep like at least like 50 to like 100 ones in my middle console, just from spinning. And I just, you know, like I just keep the ones, right? So like I just like, here's $1. You know what I mean? There's been times when I've given $1 and then like the chain reaction.
I know you get something. I mean? You get something back.
Like I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done that. I've seen it when I'm on the opposite side of the street. I'm like, okay, 5 cars just went, and then one car you see somebody stick their hand out, he walks over there, and then the cars behind him start to follow. You know what I mean? Literally, it's almost I forget what they call it. It's like it's a chemical in our brain or something like that, but they call it. It's where they kind of got the monkey see monkey do type of.
Totally. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But it's like we see we see certain things,
right,
and it sparks us to, you know, to be like
totally.
It. Do it,
it's sort of like when I yawn, everybody else yawns. It has that same sort of effect.
What it is. Yes.
It doesn't happen everywhere, but yes, it does happen. There was this big story about how people were at I forget which restaurant it was, but it was a drive-through, and everybody paid for everybody behind them.
Oh yeah,
and they did this consecutively. Yeah, it does. But this one happened. I think they broke the Guinness Book of World Records or something.
But it's so different. Like we're in this office building, and there's dentists, there's lawyers, there's doctors, all down this building. Yeah. And I'm not saying anything bad in this building, but a few know my thoughts. Yeah. Well, there's an entryway called vestibule in the bathroom. And they have an extra trash can because people use paper towels to hold the doors, whatever. Yep. And every day I go in this bathroom twice a day, and I'll pick up 5 or 6 paper towels that are just laying on the floor. And people have seen me do it. And finally, the guy over here, he's an attorney, was like, "Why are you always picking that up?" I go, "I'm sorry. I was raised in a house that my mom told me to pick up after my damn self." I said, and I go, "I think we're all of us sitting up here with all these degrees and all these businesses can probably do a little bit better to teach our kids to pick after themselves too." Yeah. So I went back out there today. He's out there picking up paper towels. Yep. I'm like, cool. Now tell everyone else in the hallway do the same thing. Just it ain't the maintenance guy. He ain't here to clean up after your ass.
You know what I know some people, and like one thing that bothers me is just weird. It's a thing. Like how it's weird. It's just a thing. It's a thing. It's just a thing. Is seeing how people treat hotel rooms.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, if you do this in a fucking hotel room, like what is your house like? Yeah. Like you feel me? Like you can't like there's no way that you are completely comfortable with having Snicker bar wrappers, Gatorade bottles, nasty chips laying all over the fucking floor. Yep. We're just kicking it. You know what I mean? And I've seen a few people, and I just like that's kind of.
We always clean our shit up. We always do. Everything's in the trash cans, and then I always leave an extra 10 spot.
Yeah, and
the cleaning staff, because and somebody else goes, "Well, it's already built in the price." I said, "Listen, that has nothing to do that lady's working a double shift, probably here out of the diner, trying to put food on there. I don't know what her story is, but I know that I have an extra $10. They're cleaning up after me, which I can't stand me clean up after me. It's just how I am.
Right.
I'll leave an extra $10. What's wrong? That's it.
Little things like that. Yeah.
It's just little shit like that makes people who leave the grocery store. And like, listen, if you're a single mom and you got a little baby, and you had to put the baby in the car and you can't get the car all the way back, cool.
Understandable.
I get it. Totally get it. Other than that, there ain't no damn reason. You can't.
Hey, why this cart is flying through the damn parking lot and hit my damn car
Right,
because of your name?
if you go to the gym around 5 a.m. in Iron Heaven, you'll see, and everybody else knows, all my members watching this, and you will see me spend my first 20 minutes, because I can't, I'm an OCD, putting shit away.
Yeah.
I have, like, you've seen the walls where all the equipment gets attached to, it's all outlined.
It's outlined. Yeah, I love that.
OCD,
I love that.
Clean
I love that.
I clean everything, and everybody else, what do I go? And all of a sudden, what you'll see is about 10 other people all of a sudden stop what they're doing and start putting shit back where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, little things.
Just that, and it's like, listen, if I can do it, everyone else can do it too. Yeah. And that's just me.
And that's the thing is, you don't even have to preach. You just do it, and then
just do it. I don't bitch to anybody. I just do it. You know?
It's a reminder for people to go, okay.
Little things build up the big things. If you can't do the little things correctly, you can't do the big things correctly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, and it's all things like that. You just got to pay attention to detail. Is a huge thing. It's the process, and it's you don't fall in love with the process and skip 5 steps of the process.
Facts.
It just doesn't happen.
Facts.
So
I agree.
What's the best way for everyone to get a hold of you and follow you on your social medias? Like, what's the contact?
Instagram at The Real King ISO, Twitter at The Real King ISO, Facebook King ISO, KING space ISO, or on the Instagrams and Instagram and Twitter, all one word, TheRealKing ISO, The Real King ISO. That's where I'm at predominantly. There's a lot of things that are coming out. You know what I mean? YouTube channel King ISO as well, or you can follow the Strange Music channel and I have videos on there as well. iTunes, Spotify, everything, pretty much the same thing. We got a lot of dope stuff coming out, and I can't wait to really continue to really push awareness from what I've been through, and I love the fact that we linked up, you know what I mean, and we're doing what we're doing, because like we were talking, like it goes hand in hand.
Yes,
you know what I mean, and there are a lot of people that have watched the work that I've done. You know what I mean? Since I've been around you guys, you know what I mean? And they're like, you guys inspired me to get into the gym and change my life. Also, 6 months sober, or
amazing.
People have wrote me paragraph after paragraph. I put the meth down, I put the alcohol down.
It's amazing.
I put the heroin down, and I'm in the gym, and I got my family.
By you just doing, people are
exactly
chain reaction.
And that's the one thing my wife's like. You're very genuine. I mean, you're very genuine, and you're very. My wife has this thing about respect, the way people are respectful towards people. And that's my wife's very old school like that. And she's like, you're very respectful. And we see the way you are with your fans too. And it's fantastic. And it speaks volumes to your character.
Because nobody has the come spend, $25 to get into a King ISO show, or, spend $30 on a shirt or $70 on a hoodie. Like it's amazing to me when I see people support. So, like, you know what I mean? Like you had this idea, like, I'm gonna start Rexius, you know what I mean? And people, that shit is everywhere. Yeah. That shit is for me, like, I love seeing people get supported, because it just means that people have it in them to do that. Oh yeah. You know what I mean? So it's such a fulfilling feeling. You know what I mean? Like it's like, damn, like, cause I remember I'd seen, I don't know if it was like 1 or 2 locations when I first came in contact with you, but I didn't see it like how I see it now. Yeah, and I was like, yo, this is dope. This is dope as fuck. I remember like it was like Exarban and somewhere else. And I remember I just got a membership at Iron Heaven, the one that's like kind of like out in Papillion. Yeah. And from a couple years back to now, I can't go anywhere without seeing Rexius somewhere. It's kind of, I can't, like, it's everywhere. Well, that's everywhere.
My thing is with that is it's all about my staff. It's my people. It's my franchisees. Yeah. They're good people, and they represent the brand well and good. It's not.
But it really does come down to you and the family and the name.
It does.
It's the same thing with the ISO soldiers. I mean, these guys are tattooing on their. He's got fans that tattoo. You're that'll be the next thing for you is people getting R's on their.
Apparently, that's already been brought up. And for me, it's if somebody decides to franchise Rexius, like we did Hot Springs, is they're putting their family, their future on the line. I take that personally responsible. Yeah. That's it's a huge thing.
If people didn't respect you, they wouldn't be wearing your hat.
It's an honor thing. I'm so honored that they would put me in that position. Yeah. And
like so you changed my life, or you helped. And the thing with fitness and nutrition, that is a very important thing with everybody, and it changes everybody's lives.
Well, look at this coronavirus. Health.
It's funny. It's my fight against the man, as on the Chad's got to hear the last couple of weeks.
Oh no, it's important.
Listen, I want to be healthy.
Exactly.
I want to take my own health in my own hands, my own mental health in my own hands. I want to be in charge. I want to be better.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in it. I mean, yes, some things are reactionary medicine. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of proactivity that can prevent a lot of that reactionary necessity. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I'm at. And yeah, Wells Fargo is trying to shut down my stores. So yeah, they're shutting down my credit card processing because they consider fat burners and detoxes and protein powders to be steroids now. But big banks are owned by Big Pharma. 80% of their shares.
Dude, and they're the biggest drug cartel in the world.
This is the second time this has happened in my industry. So
that's
now
crazy.
I had to go change all 30 location software, and it's going to cost me thousands of dollars. But I'm not going to.
They're considered steroid. Wait a minute.
Yep. What? This is a reality in business, and this is something I had to fight a lot. And it's so I'm doing the dance, and I'm getting the new hardware, the new software, the new credit card product. This is the second time it's happened to me in 11 years. And the guy on the phone goes, I don't understand why we're doing this. I said, oh, you must be new. Let me explain something. 80% of big bank stock is owned by Big Pharma. I said, they don't like my industry because people aren't on prescription drugs and in the hospital for obesity if they're losing weight in my shops.
Exactly.
I said, I understand how the system is.
It's sick.
Facts.
I said, big sickness is a multi-trillion-dollar business.
Exactly.
Nonprofit hospitals gained $71 trillion in value last year.
Yeah, they don't care about preventative health. They do not
want
care.
preventative health. They want reactionary medicine.
It's crazy.
Exactly. That's indentured servitude.
That's right.
Days if you're sick.
That's right.
You have constant customers.
Yep.
And so I'm fighting the system as much as I want to. So yeah.
It's a legal drug cartel.
And in the business wise, they don't want small business owners because we think independently. And we do. And so what happened was we finally get to a size 3 years ago, and Chad shot the video for me. We're actually lowered our franchise fees for newer franchisees by 40%. Most people get to my size and they raise their price. I lowered it because I like hustlers.
Yeah.
I want that kid who has a dream to be able to own his own business. Yeah. And so for less than what it costs for a new truck, you can start a Rexius. And you can start 6 Rexiuses for the cost of 1 GNC. And I do that purposely because I like hustlers. That was me. Yeah. And so I'm going to do shit differently. And I get that all the time, all these entrepreneurship organizations are like, you just don't go to our drum. No, I don't. I'm going to go my direction and y'all can take lessons and we can all come cooperative with ideas, but I'm not going to do the norm. I'm going to do what I feel is right.
Of course.
Over anything. Mm-hmm. And I'm not interested in getting rich quick. Mm-hmm. I'm not. And if I end up getting, Chad knows this, my wife and I's number one goal is to get enough money someday that we can either buy our church a building, or we heard this about this church in Florida did this, and this impacted this show. I read it on Twitter. I'm not a Twitter guy at all. But it's the one time I went on Twitter. I actually saw them. Same here. I hate Twitter.
Same here.
So everything's so damn evil. People are just so damn mean. But so this church was going to build a building down in Florida, and they prayed about it as a church, and they decided instead they went to the hospital, found the 100 largest, most past due bills, paid them all off. And then went door to door telling the people their medical bills were paid off. Now, if that ain't kingdom building and impacting people
that's dope
more than having your own building, then I don't know what is. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I heard that.
And I go, listen, my wife bought me this watch. I had this hat for 2 years. This is all material shit doesn't impress me. That's the kind of crap I want to do. Mm-hmm. And so, I know what my goals are. Mm-hmm. And it seems unfathomable at this point in time, but 11 years ago they said my one shop wouldn't make it 6 months, and we just opened our 30th. So
let's get it.
Let's go.
Yeah. And to your point, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a private jet. There's nothing wrong with having the nice things. But if it becomes something where it becomes a detriment and you're not making others' lives better, whether it's your family, your friends, your neighbors, your church, your organization, your people, and it becomes one of those things where it's like an accessory, I hate to say it, but like the Kardashians, they have a baby and it becomes an accessory to them. I'm like, are you going to raise those children?
You and I have discussed this. Yeah, Jeff Bezos probably has enough money. He could probably fix homelessness. And I can't bitch. I don't know him. I don't know what he's gone through. I don't know what his situation is. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get to a level, probably not that level, but I'm going to get to a high-ass level. And then I'm going to do it by fucking example. Mm-hmm. And then people will start to wholly follow that. That's the whole point.
Yeah, Time.
That's the goal.
I believe Time Magazine or one of these outlets, they put out like a thing from some type of like census or like a ad up thing. They said with just all of the billionaires in America, not even including like the millionaires, trillionaires, anything like that, just the billionaires, period, that they could have fixed world hunger 7 times. Oh, that's just in America.
Oh,
and that's a fucked up fact. You know what I mean?
For me, it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
And understanding that life is fragile.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up Chet, and I was going to bring this up. So I love Chet.
Yeah,
and Chet messaged me, and we read some prayer stuff back and forth. And so he sent me and Nick a message. It was last week. I was exhausted. I've been on the road for 2-3 weeks, opening shops, get back, and I'm just wiped. Chet sends me a video of him going up and down the stairs, the 5-pound dumbbell, doing some calves and stuff.
Yes.
And I'm like, I was just jacked up. So I'm like, oh man, God is good. This is so awesome. And in our prayers, life is fragile. Mm-hmm. What your problem you think is today isn't a real problem.
Mm.
I mean, the dude could have been paralyzed.
Exactly.
And he is fighting back, getting his mobility kicking ass at it. You know, obviously financially that's going to kick the family square in the teeth. We've done a GoFundMe and all that stuff, but like your problem is only relative to what your existence is. Understand that, you know, your worst day is somebody else's best day. It's all about perspective.
That's crazy.
And if you get that in the right mind, like it's like, oh, I have somebody else bitching today. I had to pay too much in taxes and my property tax went up. And they go, but some kid down the street has cancer. Shut up. Yeah. Your problem is relative to your existence. So understand that it's all about perspective. Yeah. If you woke up today and you're breathing and you got a chance to make an impact on the world, you are blessed.
Yeah. You're doing better than a lot of people.
Yeah. It's just sick and tired of hearing people that always have something to complain about. It's a government. It's this problem. It's that problem.
That's social media.
That is.
That's why Chad knows. Chad and I talked about this. Like, I don't, the only thing I use social media for,
that's
business and motivation.
I recently just did that. I deactivated my personal one just from I tell my friends all the time and anybody that's like associated with me, bro, like people that follow or they might, you know, they might be fans or not. I say you are what you are what you consume. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you don't just consume from eating. Like if I wake up and I'm reading bullshit all day, every day. Oh, fuck this, fuck that. I hate this. Like inadvertently, bro, that's going to become my energy because energy is not created nor destroyed. It's just transferred. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're transferring this energy over these apps. And whatever we choose to subscribe to or wherever we choose to, you know, direct our attention to, whether it be the type of movies, the type of books, the type of shit that we are mentally invested in, it becomes us.
Social media is scientifically addictive.
Yeah. Yeah,
it is made.
The social dilemma.
Social dilemma. That shit.
They don't even let their own kids. None of them have notifications on their phone. I haven't had the sound turned on my phone other than my wife. My wife's got a special setting though and making it sound, but it hasn't been on in 3.5 years. Yeah, I can't. I have 1,000 text messages on Monday by 5. Yeah, and that's it'll distract you. So like, but you are what you consume yourself with. So I listen to nothing but podcasts. Yep. I mean, I listen to music, things I do, but I don't watch the news ever. And so if somebody else was talking about the election, I go, oh yeah, I voted, but I didn't watch it. The city stuff, like I had no idea. Like why? 'Cause I don't watch the
propaganda
news.
is a real and very very effective thing. Yeah, and they have the media outlets have ways of twisting and turning things, to fit whatever rhetoric or narrative that they exactly want people to go with. And it's crazy how many people could literally be arguing, making the same.
It's constantly for sale. Everything is for sale.
We all want the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, and it's amazing. Chad saw that we had talked about this before, but like my mom and my aunt, I mean, they're on separate sides of the family. Yeah. They haven't spoken since the presidential election. Like and I'm getting messages from both of them. One's shutting off this, one's blocking that. I go, y'all have known each other for 43 years. Right. What in the absolute fuck?
Right.
Yeah. And you're going to let
about a bunch of this
about this. Yeah. A bunch of people you think really give a shit about you. No, they don't. I
worked those buildings just burned down and we have to figure out this shit amongst ourselves.
Yeah. And it's and I just I literally just quit. I just don't, anything that's negativity, I just block it out. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, same here.
And it's teaching my kids how to deal with the same shit. I'm like, listen, if you're on social media and the ones that are in high school are, I said, you got to get used to this part of society. Yeah. I say, here's the thing. Block and unfollow. Powerful tool. You don't need, the problem with social media, it tells them everybody their opinion counted.
Yeah.
And everyone else needed to hear it. Sometimes, you know what? The stronger man is one who can just keep his mouth shut and let his actions speak for him.
Exactly.
I said, argue with somebody on social media that is a keyboard warrior, you're going to do nothing. You're going to be good. Yeah. I said, use it for positivity and good. Otherwise, I'm going to yank it. And that's my rules.
Like, what do I look like exchanging that energy with you and then also letting that energy be something that I choose to hold.
Yeah.
This wasn't my initial intent. And there's so many people that
you're right.
spend that time.
I've fallen for it in the past.
God.
In the past, I've fallen for it. And, you know, and I used to get heated. You know, I'm over that now. But it's like
my whole day up
I
with some
think about it.
stranger I'll never meet in life.
I'll think about it, and I'm like, they could use that
Some dude
against
you went
me.
to high school with that you ain't seen in 17 years.
Or some dude in Russia somewhere, man, and it just so happens to get caught up in the algorithm, and now we're both on this CNN post thing.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy. And then that's the thing is like
my shoes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck you. You know, it's weird. Like, what am I doing? Like, I've had those conversations with myself. Like, what am I doing? Just delete the thread. Keep it moving. Like, we don't have to. Like, if somebody, I feel like if we could literally see it and it had like big bold print on it, a lot of us would, you know, and that's how I look at it. Like, you could walk into a room and somebody got this big ass ball that says negative, just draining, evil, just fucked up, irrational energy. And they would toss a ball at you. Like, would you read it and then catch it and hold it?
No.
You'd be like, oh, hold on.
Get away from me.
And that's how I treat it.
That's why I'm only using it for business.
That's a really good
business
analogy.
Business and memes. That's it. Memes crack me up.
I had a fucked up day, so I'm going to take it out on one. Catch this. You know,
exactly.
would you catch the football?
I'm saying.
Do the Matrix. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's just
I'm
it.
with you.
And I'll use it for business. I'll use it for positivity, and that is it. Anything negative, I don't touch it.
Yeah.
With a 50-foot pole, I just can't. And it's.
I heard that.
Well, there's our snippet. No. This.
That's our snippet. There we go. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. Honestly, we've been talking.
We're gonna have you back. We've
been talking about having you on here for like over a year. So we're super jacked at you. We'll have you back on again, man.
Let's go.
Everybody check out his music. It's fantastic.
Yes,
glad to know you.
And everybody, you know, make sure you follow Rexius. You know what I mean? Follow my guys, man, and definitely tap into Iron Heaven, man. I'm gonna be doing a lot of work with these guys, man, and I can't wait for you all to see what we have coming. And it's a really good thing, and it's going to be dope, positive things, inspirational things. It's a dope journey. I'm glad that our paths crossed, and we get to work together. You know what I mean? It's an absolute honor.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Appreciate it.